Hello, everyone. Rachel Jensen here, broker owner of Luna Realty Belize in the beautiful country of Belize. We are on question number 97 today of our In the Inbox series. And we're going to jump in today's question, which was asked by Andrea. And she said, I'm looking at a pre-construction opportunity. What should I know? So for those of you who are just tuning into our Luna series here, pre-construction and working in the development space is actually what brought me to Belize in 2012. I had an opportunity with a real estate developer. I stayed with them for 10 years and then broke off and branched off in 2022 and opened the real estate company. So we have extensive knowledge of being in the pre-construction and the development space. I have a heart for that space. I personally love seeing projects come to life, seeing the happy owners get delivered their key, them being the first ones who are able to stay in their property. It's just a very, very exciting time. But with that, of course, there are things that you need to be looking for because not all pre-construction opportunities are the same. So I've highlighted a few questions that you should be asking. It's not going to be every question that you should be asking. It's a good start. We do have a more comprehensive overview. If you would like that, you can always just email us at the end, info@lunarealtybelize.com, info@lunarealtybelize.com. But I'm going to just jump right in and give you some tips. So when you're looking at pre-construction, is what you want to be asking the developer. So this question over here is, does the developer have experience in Belize? If not, who is their on-site team? What I have found is that it's okay if a developer is not living here full time as they're developing their project out. Of course, if they have developed here in Belize and they've successfully completed projects, that's just another checkbox. That's awesome. You can see that they're able to get a project completed, proof of concept. But if they're new to the development space, that is okay too. I think what's even more important is knowing that they have a solid on-site team. So maybe if they're not here full time, they're going back and forth. You'll want to find out who their project manager is, who their contractor is, and who's doing the sales and marketing for this property. And I do find that to be very important to have those three people identified because they're the ones who are going to be ensuring that the project is moving forward. So very, very strong details for you to have. The second question here, and it's more of a group of questions, but they all hang together. What is the master plan for this property? What is the projected timeline and how is the project getting funded? So what I tell people is if it's just a really, really big project that this developer is taking on, especially if it's their first project here in Belize, and they're ready to they're gung-ho, they're doing all of the phases at once, they're just ready to get this, let's say 1,000-acre property done, I would say be wary. And the reason that I say that is because a lot of times, especially new developers, they do end up getting in over their heads. But if they're taking it slowly and they're starting with phases, then they're able to see how they're going to be moving forward for the next phases. They'll be able to better control their budget. They'll be able to better control their workforce. There are a lot of reasons why people really should be developing in phases, especially new developers. But take a look at the master plan, see what's included, see what the amenities are, understand what the developer is going to be delivering to you within that master plan as well. What is the projected timeline? So this hangs with that first question of what is the master plan? What is the projected timeline for getting this project complete? There likely and there should be different phases, right? So what is the projected timeline for those phases and then for the entire project getting completed? Now, I can tell you, especially for North American developers who come down here, especially if they're used to North American timelines, they are expecting things to happen a lot quicker than they actually do happen here in Belize. So I tend to find that if somebody's coming in and saying, it's going to be a 12-month build, I mean, I would expect 18 to 24 months just with how things go here in Belize. So set those expectations right from the get-go, but also understand what the overall plan is and the vision for the property that you're purchasing within. And then how is the project getting funded? This is probably one of the most critical questions to ask. If the project is getting funded by the developer directly, maybe he has a group or she has a group of investors or shareholders, that's perfect. The project is going to be moving along regardless of how the sales are going. However, there are some developments that are going to be built as the sales happen, right? Maybe they need X amount of sales in order to get the building built or in order to get that phase started or completed. But you want to understand that, you want to know that, because if you're going to be waiting for X amount of sales to happen and you're one of the early ones in, then you may be waiting even more time for your property to get completed. Or, what happens if they never get to that number within a reasonable period of time? Does your purchase contract price increase? Do you have the ability to get some of the money back? Right? These are things that you really do have to be thinking about. Obviously, a developer that's self-funded or has investors or shareholders is a more secure feeling because you know that they have the money to move forward regardless. But there are still great projects here that do move along as the sales happen. And then the third question that I would ask would be to ask the developer for a template of the paperwork. Ask to see the purchase agreement and all of the schedules. I know with one of the developer I work with, we have paperwork that is the primary purchase agreement and then schedules A through J. A through J. It's a lot of paperwork to read, but you know what? We would rather it be spelled out exactly to the person who's purchasing, what we anticipate their closing costs to be, what's included in the furniture package, how the property is going to be built, what the site map looks like, what their floor plans are with dimensions. All of those will help to mitigate future problems or future concerns if you're maybe not exactly sure what you're getting. If you're talking to a developer and they're promising something to you, ensure that is in the contract. Make sure that is written and both parties are signing off on it, because there are many times that developers or folks are just going to tell you something to get you through the door. And they may have the best of intention of getting it done, right? They may have the best intention of getting it done. However, if it's not there, if it's not written in the paperwork, then it's not a guarantee. Now, I would ensure that these three items are going to be in the sets of paperwork that you receive from the developer. One is a construction deadline. Again, as I mentioned, it's not uncommon for deadlines to come and go. However, you'll want to give the developer, some extra time just in case something happens, right? 6, 12 months. But if it's going on for years, then you should be entitled to get your money back. But these are things that you'll want to be looking through the paperwork to ensure it's there. And if it's something that, of course, is really important to you and it's not there, then you'll need to have that conversation with the developer. Number two is surety to the title. So typically, if it's a new property or pre-construction property, they haven't done the strata subdivision. And this is a strata title is specifically for condos or when there's multiple properties on one title. So you want the surety to the title in that paperwork, or there's going to be a line in the paperwork that says, if the strata title cannot be delivered, then you get your money back. That gives you the guarantee of knowing that you're going to be able to get title to your property. And in all of the projects that I have seen, they've been able to get title. So with the strata, you can't apply for that until the building is done. So strata is what applies again to condos or to when there's multiple properties, multiple structures on one titled land. And then number three here is I would ensure that you're getting a breakdown of exactly what you're getting. We alluded to this before, but get a list of standard features. So you know exactly how the home or how the property is going to be built, what sort of finishes are going to be included, what's not included, if there's a furniture package, exactly what's in that furniture package. The less room there is for the developer to decide something without you knowing, then the better you'll feel about what it is that you're purchasing, because you're going to know exactly what you're getting. So these are the three things that I would ensure are going to be in your paperwork: the construction deadline, surety to title, and then the breakdown of exactly what you're getting. Super, super important things. So as I mentioned, this is really just the beginning of the questions that you should be asking. We have a whole list of more that we do recommend you reach out to get from us. Feel free to email us info@lunarealtybelize.com, info@lunarealtybelize.com. And you can just mention the foreigner resource guide, and we'll get that over to you. Within that document, there's also going to be a lot of other information that will be important for you as you're looking at properties here in Belize. Again, email us info@lunarealtybelize.com and we will get that document emailed over to you. And in the meantime, we hope to see everybody here in Belize. This is home for us. We're based on Ambergris Key, and we hope to see you here at some point. Bye, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.